You know, guys, something that's unfortunately very common here in Call of Duty, especially when we're talking about Activision, is just how many people, specifically Gooch Lickers of course, just allow things to happen, alright? Like, just absolute absurd nonsense going on behind the scenes, and people just turn a blind eye. Now, don't get me wrong, ignorance is bliss, alright? Like, that's a fact. However, there's just so many controversial things constantly happening behind the scenes in the background, and because people take this whole ignorance is bliss a little bit too seriously, people often forget the implications that go along with just allowing things to happen. Now, Activision is no stranger to controversy, so it doesn't really surprise me that this is actually going on. What surprises me more though is how many people are just okay with this. And not that it's a bad thing necessarily, but people aren't really thinking about the long-term implications that this could have on COD. But before I go any further, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. We already hit 25,000 subscribers, you guys are crazy. By the way, if you haven't seen the Q&A yet, go ahead and check it out. We're already at 25.2 if I'm not mistaken. Like, you guys are ridiculous, so thank you. You guys know what the goal is, right? I don't gotta tell you what the goal is, do I, guys? We're shooting for 30 now, alright? Let's make it happen. Share your thoughts down in the comments below, share the video around, turn on the post notifications if you'd like, and yeah, let's get back into this. So this all started from a post from Charlie Intel the other day. He says, a new report from Wired claims that parts of the Yokai Wrath bundle released in COD Modern Warfare 2019 Part 3 was made by AI software. Wired also claims Activision developers were approved to use generative AI programs earlier this year. Now, on the surface level, just the existence of AI in the world, by this point in 2024, it's kind of a commonality now. Like, you're gonna see it in a lot of different places. You're gonna see it in advertisements, which, if you've been following me on Twitter, we'll talk about advertising very soon. I mean, people are fighting for this to be in movies. You'll see it in shows, on websites, in certain programs that you run on your PC, like Copilot. Like, there's just so many things that contain AI, and to an extent, sometimes, whether we like it or not, sometimes it is a little bit helpful. Let's not lie to ourselves. How many of you guys are using ChatGPT? By the way, you shouldn't be using ChatGPT, alright? If you're in high school or in college, the Scat Master's watching you, alright? Don't be using it. Do things legit, otherwise I'm gonna have to smoke you guys like I did Virginity and all these other cheaters that are doing things the non-legit way. But the point is, guys, it just exists, whether we like it or not. The problem that I have with it existing in COD is not necessarily the fact that it is a thing, it's more so where it's being used, how it's being used, and what it's gonna mean for us going forward. And that is part of the discussion that a lot of people are not talking about. Now, I went into this whole article by Wired just to see where it's being used specifically, and what I'm gathering is that it's being used mainly in the cosmetics, in the bundles that we're buying. And once again, on the surface level, this isn't really necessarily a problem. It's not necessarily a bad thing. People are gonna buy it if the developers made it, if AI made it, if my grandma made it, if George Bush made it. Osama bin Laden could have made it, and some people would probably still buy it. But this is where things get a little bit interesting for me, and this is really where you start having to expand your mind to actually understand this concept of long-term thinking, you know, critical thinking. This is where it should kick in. So coming straight from the article, just over a month after the bundle was released, Microsoft laid off 1,900 Activision, Blizzard, and Xbox employees. According to an Activision employee Wired spoke to, remaining concept artists were forced to use AI to aid in their work. Now, this could mean one of two things. One, because the developers are shorthanded now due to the layoffs, they gotta use some crutches, maybe AI could help them with that. The second meaning, however, could very well be the fact that Microsoft, or else any other corporation that's looking to save money, because at the end of the day, all of this is about money, have fired a ton of employees with the hope that they can get the same work done without having to spend as much money. And now some of these developers that are still remaining working on the cosmetics, they have to use AI. They are being forced to use AI by Activision, by Microsoft, by whichever corporation is over there pulling the strings now in an attempt to save money. Now, again, if you're just a casual out there and you don't really care and you're just spending money on whatever you see fit in this game, you don't really care. At the end of the day, if it's a cool looking bundle, you're gonna buy it, right? If Joe Cod and Bobby Cosby's ball sacks were hanging right in front of you, you'd probably salivate. It's the same concept.
Good Lord, man!
But tell me this, guys, if it weren't for this report, would anybody have actually talked about this? Would anybody have actually known about this? And that is where the real problem lies. If Microsoft and Activision are this nonchalant about just including AI in creating cosmetics, something that people are purchasing, what exactly is to stop them from including it in other areas? For example, I've been receiving this comment a ton under my last few videos, and trust me, I've just been waiting for a perfect time to include this, and this just so happens to be one of them. Why are people just magically getting super banned from chat, from voice chat in COD? To everybody that's been commenting under my videos to talk about this, look, I got you guys. Why is this happening? Who is in control of all of these bans and shadow bans? Are there actually people looking into this or not? Because I've seen other people talk about how they say the smallest thing, the slightest insult, and now they're just completely VC banned from COD. They can't even talk to their friends in the party, and that's already another issue, but it stems from whoever is in control of banning these people. It's one of two things. They're either extremely Charmin ultra soft, or two, it's not actually a person behind the scenes controlling this. And that is a major issue that you probably should be disclosing to your consumers and your customers. Like, I'm gonna be straight up, I don't care how you take it, you can think I'm a boomer for this, but if I have AI constantly breathing down my neck, just going through every single motion and action I make in COD, I'm probably just not even gonna play. Well, what is the point? Alright, in COD, we like to talk crap. We like talking trash. If you're gonna permaban me from talking, and it's not even a person that's deciding that, it's AI, it's a software, why would I even bother? And look, the Ghost of Hope even says it himself. The fact there's zero disclaimers on this stuff is the biggest problem, honestly. And this ties back into the whole ignorance is bliss thing, guys. If we just casually accept whatever, then Activision and Microsoft and all these other corporations are just gonna take it upon themselves to continue pushing the envelope forward and see how far they can take it. Cause yeah, right now it's confirmed we can see it in the cosmetics. Before they were denying that there was AI bots in the multiplayer. Now we have people getting banned and shadow banned and it's behind AI, it's not actually behind real people. I mean seriously, at a certain point, the actual development and creation of Call of Duty multiplayer experiences, who is to say that they're actually designed by real people and not just AI? And if they aren't even willing to disclose the fact that there is AI behind some of these cosmetics, what would possibly propel these developers and these people to inform us that there's AI behind the creation of the game? And to these gooch lickers that see absolutely zero flaw in this, you are the people that need to really open your eyes, open your mind to the possibility that there wasn't an actual person behind the thing that you're interacting with. And if that doesn't make the hair stand up behind your neck, I don't know what will. It's kind of creepy if you ask me. But guys, on the topic of AI and creepiness, what's really starting to creep me out is Charlie Intel and Doug Dimmadome Warzone. If you follow me on Twitter, then maybe you caught me talking about this, but has anybody noticed just how much gooch licking they're doing on the timeline? Doug Dimmadome Warzone pulls up this whole clip about this might be the craziest weapon inspection in Call of Duty, to which the Scadmaster responded, "Did a human make this?" Because at this point, I don't know. But then Charlie Intel posts one himself saying, "Another insane weapon inspect for the Codfish Tracer Pack." And then Doug Dimmadome Warzone comes back with, "This might be the best finishing move in Call of Duty history. You literally kick a field goal with your enemy and yeet them out of existence." Much like how common sense is now being yeeted out of existence as well. And then there's a new Sock Puppet Tracer Pack bundle in Call of Duty MW 2019 Part 3 in Warzone, and it looks hilarious. Comes with googly eyes that move when the head does and everything. And then Charlie Intel again, COD Black Cell for Season 5 is $27. If you have an active Game Pass subscription on Xbox or PC, $3 off. Guys, it's gotten to the point where I don't even think Charlie Intel and Doug Dimmadome Warzone are real people. These guys are not behaving or talking or interacting like real people. These are AI advertisers. That is my new theory. Okay, we already got AI behind the cosmetics, we got AI in the matchmaking, we got AI banning people. We're probably gonna have AI developing the games pretty soon here. And now we have real people that were once actual humans now taken to, I don't even know, like a laboratory by Activision. Maybe they got sent to Epstein Island with Bobby Cosby too long, and now they came back and they're not actual humans anymore. And something's very strange about these advertisers that are just pushing this down your throats instead of maybe talking about the long-term implications that AI could have in COD. Why is there no discussion on the capabilities that AI has, and in the long term, what it could imply for the games going forward? And if Activision and Microsoft are to start using AI in their games, for example, let's say AI creates the entire storyline for the next campaign, which is very possible, why would they need to hire a director for this? Somebody who actually creates the story. There's gonna be less need for actual creatives in the Call of Duty space, because if AI can do it, then ultimately these people are saving money. But then that begs the question as well, if they start saving more money and more people start spending on bundles, does there really need to be a price tag behind the multiplayer experience? You see what I'm getting at, guys? Like, this whole process that you're seeing me unfold right in front of you guys on video, this is what's called critical thinking. You could say it's conspiracy thinking if you'd like. I don't really care. All I'm telling you guys is, this sort of stuff should make you think about things in the future.
Now listen!
It should influence your decisions. You shouldn't just be blindly buying everything and just accepting whatever Activision's throwing at you. When this happened, these 1,900 people got laid off. We remember that. We made a video on that. Everybody was talking about it. AI was the last thing on our minds. And yet it was happening in the background right then and there. And Activision nor any other developer disclosed that. And if they did, we certainly didn't catch it, and if people were making reports on that back then, why weren't people like Doug Dimmadome Warzone or Charlie Intel reporting on it? Because it hurts the bottom line. It hurts the dollars. And once again, it just begs the question, if they are willing to do all of this without your knowledge, what is to stop them from doing anything further? We complain about SBMM all the time. Who's to say there isn't AI behind the matchmaking? Behind the algorithms that are being made behind matchmaking, EOMM, SBMM? Is there even people with a conscious brain, with actual empathetic emotions, or common sense and logic and reasoning? Do these people even exist today that are working on this? Because from my perspective, if I were working on SBMM behind the scenes in COD, and I just constantly saw nothing but people crying and complaining and hating, and I took a look at some of these comments myself, and I actually heard people out, the human aspect of me is gonna say, you know what? Maybe what I'm doing here, maybe it's not right. Maybe I can dial it back a little bit if it has to exist. Is AI gonna do that, guys? No. And I know this might sound super conspiracy to everybody, but if you've been with the channel long enough, you guys know that I'm not just giving into any conspiracy that exists in COD. I wasn't totally convinced of damage-based matchmaking. I wasn't totally convinced of footstep-based matchmaking or any of these other conspiracies that were coming out. I don't just blindly follow them. Like, I gotta think about them and come to my own conclusions and actually make a decision after that. Same exact logic applies here, but the only difference is, this time it's actually being confirmed, and it's something so subtle that you can see in real time how many people just don't care. How many people are just okay with it. And I understand at the end of the day, if it's just cosmetics, it's not really gonna affect me, especially as somebody who doesn't buy cosmetics. It kinda doesn't affect me whatsoever. Truthfully, guys, the issue genuinely arises when the people behind these moves see just how nonchalant you're accepting everything. Because once they see that, it gives them room to try out different things. We saw this with the pay-to-win bundles. You see what I mean, guys? Like, slowly but surely, they're just testing the waters to see how much you're willing to accept without questioning anything. And if you think Activision and Microsoft are not capable of continuing to push some of these weird elements that are not human down our throats, I challenge you to challenge them and prove yourself wrong or right. But that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. If it comes out that there's more AI in COD and we just didn't know it this whole time, are you just gonna sit there and accept it, or are you actually gonna question some things? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notifications to stay up to date with my newest videos. And yeah, guys, it's been the boy Fooly. Have yourselves a good one. I'm out of here. Toodles.
body.